The storm rolled in just past midnight. Rain tapped gently on the window panes, wind coiling through the trees like breath held too long. Inside the Carter home, the world slept. Quiet. Still. Until Emily woke. Screaming. Sarah was there in an instant, clutching her daughter's trembling body as she bolted upright in bed. Emily's voice, silent for weeks, finally broke through the dark. Emily, whispering, "He's still watching me." It wasn't just the words, it was the certainty in them, a tone so rooted in fear that Sarah felt her skin crawl. She looked down at Emily, her hands shaking as she brushed damp hair from her daughter's face. "Sarah, sweetheart, who's watching you?" Emily didn't answer. Her fingers reached for the familiar weight of Rex's fur. The German shepherd had already leapt onto the bed, positioning himself between Emily and the window, shielding her from the night itself. He let out a low whine, not of distress, but of recognition. In T, FBI field office, conference room. An hour later, Sarah sat across from Agent Jack Monroe, her voice trembling, her eyes heavy with fear and exhaustion. Emily sat beside her, unusually calm now. She clutched Rex's leash in one hand and a red crayon in the other. Monroe watched the little girl carefully. The nightmares weren't new, but this time she had spoken. More importantly, she had drawn. Emily slid the picture across the table, crude lines, shadows, hastily scribbled. But unmistakable, a tall figure in a long coat, face hidden behind a mask. Not the kind from Halloween. Something darker, smooth, blank, wrong. Monroe. "You've seen him before?" Emily gave the smallest of nods. The door opened. Lisa Carter, tech specialist, entered with a tablet in hand. "Lisa," clipped tone. "Jack. You need to see this. INT operations room. Continuous." Lisa pulled up a waveform audio file. Lisa encrypted folder, recovered from Hale's warehouse. Until now, unreadable. But I broke through the codec. She pressed play. The voice that came through wasn't Hale's. It wasn't Clean's. It was colder, distorted, calm. Distorted voice, VO. "Burn the shipment. All of it. Leave nothing. The girl wasn't supposed to survive. Hale failed." Clean compromised. Reset the cycle. Silence. Heavy. Physical. "Lisa. This isn't just trafficking. It's coordinated. Military precision. Logistics. Code language. They don't see these kids as victims, Jack. They see them as assets." Jack leaned against the table, staring at the waveform. Jack, the masked man. He's giving the orders. Hale and Clean were just tools. Behind them, Sarah's voice wavered. "Sarah, you think he's still out there?" Monroe looked at Emily, who stared silently out the window. Rex's head rested in her lap. "Jack, he never left. He's just waiting for us to catch up." INT, FBI hallway. Moments later, Jack stepped into the hall, answering a call from Quantico. The new voice data had triggered a flag in the database. An alias, a ghost. 6 countries, 3 unsolved child disappearances. Codename, Ward. No real name, no face. But now, a trail. Jack, grim. "We've got a name? Now we need his network. INT. Operations room. Back inside Lisa. There's one more line, repeated, almost like a mantra." She typed. On screen. "The chain must not break." A chill ran down Jack's spine. "Jack, then it's time we broke it ourselves." Rex barked once. Sharp, decisive. And just like that. The hunt began again. Ext. Outskirts of Tacoma. Later that night, rain pelted the rusted warehouses. Jack stepped out of the black SUV, boots crunching against gravel. Rex leapt down beside him, fur bristling, nose to the wind. Lisa tapped away on her tablet near the rear. "Lisa," quietly, "this is it. Shell company tied to the same offshore account that paid Hale." "Jack, we're not just chasing ghosts anymore." The task force moved in. The steel doors groaned open, echoing into darkness. A wave of mildew and chemical bitterness hit them like memory. INT. Warehouse. Main floor weapons drawn. Silent steps. Rex froze. A low growl rumbled from his chest. Controlled. Focused. Jack, barely audible. He smells something. They followed Rex to a reinforced steel door. Biometric scanner, military grade. Jack, Lisa, LISA, already working. Encryption variant. I've seen it. Just a minute. Click. The door opened. Inside. Dim blue light. Server banks humming. Filing cabinets. A steel table covered in folders. Jack opened one. Photos. Medical histories. Family data. Jack softly. Jesus. This isn't just trafficking. It's profiling. Lisa, they were building dossiers. Some are crossed out. Some marked with an R and a date. Jack turned another folder. Name, Emily Carter. Beneath hers, Emma Sullivan, Noah Mitchell. Lisa, trembling. They weren't random, they were chosen. Rex barked, short, urgent. He nosed at a filing cabinet. Jack pulled it aside. A hidden door. Inside, monitors, live surveillance feeds, a forest trail, a coastal dock, a basement hallway, still active. Lisa, shocked, remote surveillance, still operational. I can trace it, but it'll take time. Jack, coldly. Somewhere out there, someone's still watching. Rex stared at the third monitor, a hallway, a crescent moon scratched into the plaster. Jack froze. Jack, I've seen that before. Lisa. Where? Jack, the Serpent's takedown, 10 years ago. That symbol marked safe houses. This wasn't over. Jack, to Lisa. Can you trace the feed? Lisa. Yes, but it's bouncing through 4 international relays. Deliberate. Jack looked down at the files. Hundreds. Jack, any? Leave names? Lisa, 7. 5 unaccounted for. Jack didn't blink. Jack. Then we're not letting another one vanish. Rex barked again, this time not in warning, in readiness. The man who had built schools in Haiti, funded children's hospitals, and delivered impassioned TED Talks about philanthropy and progress, was also the architect of something far more monstrous, a trafficking empire woven through nonprofits and shell corporations hidden in the folds of good intentions. Jack Monroe stood behind the two-way mirror, jaw clenched. Lisa Carter stood beside him, tablet in hand. Lisa voice analysis confirms it. It's him. Monroe didn't nod. He just watched. Rex sat at his feet, taut, alert, eyes locked onto the glass. His ears twitched with every word the man said or didn't say. Int. Interrogation room inside. Franklin Ward barely blinked as Agent Patrick Reed began questioning. Reed, voice low, deliberate. We know everything, the offshore accounts, the serpents, the recordings, the warehouse files, the island. Ward smiled softly. Ward, you know what I allowed you to find. Reed's jaw tightened, but he didn't take the bait. Reed, you trafficked children, Franklin. You used your foundation to launder money, move people, erase records. You manipulated the system so well it took a therapy dog and a 5-year-old to bring you down. Ward leaned back, voice calm. Ward, that's what fascinates me. You had databases, satellites, millions in government funding, and still, it was the silence of a little girl that cracked it. Reed's voice hardened. Reed, why children? Ward paused, as if the question required thought. Ward, because the world forgets them, runaways, foster kids, broken homes, they're invisible, and when they vanish, no one looks long enough. Us beat. Except you, because a dog growled. In T observation room. Monroe's fingers curled into fists. Lisa whispered, Lisa. He's not afraid. Monroe number. He doesn't think this ends here. Interrogation room. Ward looked up, right at the camera. Ward, do you really think it stops with me? There will always be another mask. Another man with resources and patience and purpose. Reed stood. Reed, your purpose ends here. The door opened. Monroe stepped in, silent. Rex followed at his heel. Ward's expression shifted. Not fear, not surprise. Something colder, calculating. Ward, well, the silent witness. Rex didn't growl. He just stared, unmoving, taut like a bowstring. His eyes burned with something more than instinct. Memory. Ward leaned slightly forward, lips curling. "Ward, you remember me, don't you?" Monroe gave a short command, voice calm but sharp. Monroe back. Rex stayed still. Ward funny. "I underestimated him, not a tool, not a pet, something more." To Monroe, "You should study him, the bond, the transfer of trauma. That's where the real future lies." Monroe, "Shut up." Quiet but firm. Interior interrogation room. Moments later, the door opened again. Small footsteps. Hesitant, but determined. Emily Carter entered. The courtroom team had warned against it. She'd been through too much. But Emily had asked to see the man behind the mask, to face him. She walked in slowly, hand resting on Rex's back. Her hair was tucked behind her ears, her cheeks pale but calm. When she stopped, she didn't look at Ward. She looked at Rex. And Rex looked up at her, as if waiting. Ward chuckled softly. "Ward, brave little thing. You came to see the monster." Emily finally looked at him. Her expression faltered, the ghost of fear flickering in her eyes. But she reached down, gripped Rex's fur tighter, and stepped forward. Rex shifted, not lunging, just rising. His posture told the room everything. Monroe, V.O. If Emily hadn't been there, he wouldn't have held back. Ward saw it too. "Ward, you've trained him well, or maybe he trained you." Emily didn't speak. She didn't have to. She reached up, placed a hand gently on Rex's chest, and shook her head. "Emily," softly. "Not like this." Monroe saw it then, not just bravery, but something more powerful. Control. A girl who had every reason to hate, to fear, to lash out, choosing instead to stop the cycle, not through violence, through presence, through healing. Ward was pulled to his feet, handcuffed. Agents led him away. His last words echoed into the sterile hallway. "Ward, you can't stop the cycle." Monroe knelt beside Emily. "Monroe, quiet." "You just did." Rex leaned into her side, tail swaying slowly, breathing calm. The face behind the mask had finally been revealed, and the shadows, for the first time, seemed to retreat. EXT, Seattle. Morning. For weeks, the city had been blanketed in gray, but the morning after Franklin Ward's arrest, light finally broke through the clouds, casting a warm hue over hospital windows, safe houses, and the front porch of the Carter home. Emily Carter sat cross-legged on the steps. The sleeves of her sweatshirt tugged over her hands. Her eyes focused on the lawn where Rex, her silent shadow, rolled lazily on his back, paws in the air, tail sweeping the grass in contentment. She giggled softly. Not a whisper this time, a real full laugh. Inside the house, Sarah Carter froze, teacup trembling in her hand. She turned to Monroe at the kitchen table, eyes still guarded. "Sarah." She laughed, a whisper. "That's the first time I've heard her laugh like that." She couldn't finish. Monroe gave her a faint smile. "Monroe, she's not just healing, she's reclaiming." Sarah wiped the corner of her eye. "Sarah, I don't know how to thank you." "Monroe, you don't have to thank me." Nods toward the window. "Thank him." Outside, Emily had crawled closer to Rex. Her fingers combed gently through his thick fur, stopping now and then to press against the familiar scar along his flank. Her lips moved, a whisper not meant for anyone but him. "Emily, you found me when I couldn't call for help. You were my voice." Rex blinked up at her, then rolled to his side, pressing his head into her lap. And there, on that small patch of grass, they stayed. No longer the girl who was broken and the dog who had been discarded, just two souls who had saved each other. In FBI field office, later a new display had been installed. The hallway was quiet, reserved for agents and staff. Near the center, where the wall of honor stretched from end to end, a single-frame photo stood beneath the inscription, "In honor of silent courage." The photo was of Rex, upright, alert, eyes fixed just off camera. It wasn't posed. It had been taken during a search, muddy, battered, beautiful in its raw truth. Below it, a plaque read, Rex K9 Witness Companion, Protector, Hero. Monroe stood a few paces back, arms crossed. Lisa Carter joined him, expression soft. Lisa, that dog did more than half the agents I've worked with. Monroe smirked faintly. Monroe. He doesn't care about red tape, just instincts. Lisa. He's staying with them, right? The Carters? Monroe nods. There's no place else he belongs. Beat. Emily sleeps through the night now, and she talks. Lisa smiled. Lisa, good. They stood in silence, the hum of the building continuing quietly around them. Outside, the headlines were everywhere. Billionaire behind bars. FBI breaks child trafficking ring. 1,000 variations of the same truth. The serpents had been gutted. The operation was shut down, but not erased. Lisa. You think it's really over? Monroe's jaw tightened slightly. Monroe, not completely. There's always someone watching, someone waiting. Lisa, you scared? He shook his head. Monroe, number because now they know. We're watching too. EXT. City Park. Sunset. Later that afternoon, Monroe walked through a nearby park. His coat fluttered in the breeze, hands in pockets. Rex trotted beside him, leash trailing. He spotted Emily again, running this time, playing tag with another girl. Her laughter echoed off the trees. Monroe slowed. Rex stopped too, tail wagging. She turned, spotted them, and came sprinting. Emily, Rex! Rex bounded forward, meeting her halfway. She wrapped her arms around his neck, burying her face into his fur. Then she looked up at Monroe. Emily, Agent Jack, right? Monroe raised an eyebrow. Monroe? That's new. She giggled. Emily, Mom says you like being mysterious. Monroe. Only on Thursdays. Emily sat down cross-legged in the grass. Rex curled beside her. She reached out, resting her small hand gently on his head. Her smile softened. Emily, he's not just a dog. He's my voice. My hero. Monroe looked at them both. Monroe. Yeah. Quietly. Mine too. Above them the sun climbed higher, a scattering gold across the treetops. There were still shadows in the world, still things that lurked in silence. But here, in this moment, light had returned, and Rex was watching, always.